For the past couple of weeks, you have probably heard people saying that this could be the end for TikTok, and they are in some extremely big trouble. And most of the time when you hear people say stuff like that, you probably don't really care that much because you think it's just people overhyping the situation so they could get some more views and engagement, and it's probably not really that much of a big deal. It's most likely just a big nothing burger. Well, if you think that, you are wrong, because TikTok is actually in some pretty big trouble right now, and the future of the website isn't really looking so good. So one important part of TikTok is music. Most of the time if you go and watch a video, they probably have a song playing in the background, and that song is probably owned by a group that is called the Universal Music Company. Now if you don't know what this group is, they basically own the right to so much music that exists. Basically, think about any popular artist, someone like Taylor Swift or The Weeknd, and there is an extremely high chance that they are working under this artist. I meant to say working under this company. I don't know how I was able to mess that up so badly. So it will be extremely bad if TikTok and that group ended up getting in some extremely big disagreement and the Universal Music Group ended up pulling out all of their songs. And that is exactly what ended up happening, because during the day, January 30th, 2024 is going to be a date that TikTok is going to remember, because after that day, the majority of the videos on the app are just silent. Currently right now, if you go on TikTok and you scroll down your For You page, it is literally just a bunch of videos with no audio. So when you want to go and watch a video of someone cooking food, doing a funny dance, committing a crime, there is no music, and that is because Universal Music Group basically bailed out, and every single song that runs under that company is now removed, so videos that had that song is now automatically muted. Now with this happening, this caused a lot of trouble on the whole TikTok ecosystem. One, a lot of music artists are actually extremely worried about this decision, because something that a lot of people ended up bringing up is that TikTok is a really good way for you to promote your song. You can basically go out and just release a random song, you could be saying some absolute fire, and if that song gets extremely popular on TikTok and becomes a TikTok song, there's a chance where the artist could actually get free promotion. So a lot of people who actually work with Universal Music Group is actually just extremely concerned that their songs just got taken away and now they can't be used anymore. And there's a lot of examples of a bunch of artists whose song just absolutely blew up, but now since they work with that company and their music isn't playing anymore, the song just automatically stopped getting any traction, and that's just extremely sad to see. And also, if you're a TikTok page who uses music or talk about music, which is a lot of them, oopsie daisy, you kind of lost your career because there's not really anything you can talk about anymore. So I don't know what's gonna happen to the whole TikTok prank scene. When they try to do their amazing prank like hot wire in a car, they're not going to be able to play their favorite song in the background. What are they going to do? I mean, they can always go and use generic copyright free music, but who wants to do that? Now, Universal Music Group actually ended up releasing a whole statement on their website why they decided to make this decision, and I ended up reading the whole thing, so I'm basically just going to summarize to you what's happening. There are 3 reasons why they are making this decision. One, it seems like when they tried to renew their contract with TikTok, it looks like the deal didn't really go good, and we don't really know what ended up happening. We don't know if TikTok was actually the one trying to make them sign a bad deal, or if it was the Universal Music Group being extremely greedy, but either way, the deal that they already have basically doesn't exist anymore, and their whole deal expired January 30th, which was basically last month. 2, it looks like the cut that TikTok was actually giving the artist when someone uses their song isn't really that good. So the Universal Music Group wants that to be better because they really want their artists to be supported, aka they kind of just want to go and get a little bit more money. But I don't know how it works behind the scenes, so let's just assume that they actually care about something like that. And if that is true, that is something that I can completely agree with. I'm all for giving people original credit if you want to use their work. So if Universal Music Group really cares about that, I actually think that's a pretty good decision and something that most people could agree with. Let's actually go and try to find a way to better support the artists, the people who originally make the music. And number 3, AI. TikTok has an extremely big AI problem. It is just absolutely everywhere, and it doesn't really look like TikTok is doing anything to fix it, mainly because a lot of AI pages are getting millions of views, so why would they even go out and fix it? And they have a lot of AI artists too, and it looks like Universal Music Group does not like that at all, so one of their reasons why they're pulling out is because there's not enough a way to protect human works. And hearing them say that sentence does sound extremely futuristic. We have to go and protect the musical work of real life fleshy humans. You know, not cringe robots like Mother V2, real organic flesh sacks. I think me describing a human as that is probably way more disturbing than anything Universal Music Group could say. And they also ended up talking about that TikTok is really bad at moderating, which is also something that's extremely true. We kind of reached a point where brand new TikTok trends are just people committing crimes or people just hurting themselves, like doing the blackout challenge. So those are the reasons why. Big L for TikTok. What is wrong with me today? Why am I saying so much weird things? But when this bombshell ended up dropping, TikTok actually decided to make a response on their Twitter. Actually, before I get into their response, I don't know how I was able to forget this, but one thing that Universal Music Group ended up saying, which I just think is extremely funny, is that they said that TikTok only makes 1% of how much money they make yearly. So they kind of just threw TikTok under the bus, going like, you are meaningless. You do not matter to us. We are extremely rich. We don't need you. So us pulling out, we're not being injured at all. But you, little TikTok, you're going to be in some extremely big trouble. Now, let's go to TikTok response. They first started by calling the Universal Music Group greedy. First, can we just bring up how funny it is that a billion-dollar company that only cares about making as much money as possible is pointed fingers and calling each other greedy? No, you're the extremely greedy one, not me. I'm the good, amazing company. Like, what are you two talking about? And also the response of TikTok saying that we signed multiple deals with other companies. Who? Like, Universal Music Group basically has a monopoly on music. They own so much people. Who else are you signing with? I feel like this is a decision that both of the parties are going to end up regretting, because again, a lot of people who work for Universal Music probably got their song promoted because of TikTok. TikTok needs music. That is an extremely important part of their brand. They literally used to be Musical.ly before they were TikTok, but until then, TikTok is in a very scary time where it's just extremely silent. This is basically like when Twitter was hit with that rate limit exceeded whole situation, but for TikTok. But I think they are going to be fine, and if they don't make it up, I generally don't know what's going to happen for the future of TikTok. But don't worry, people will just run and go to different places like Instagram Reels. If you use that, I feel sorry for you. Anyway, that's it. This is just something that I want to talk about. You have a good day or night. See ya.